Okay, so how do I study, right? Oh, and like what books do I like growing up? Like growing up, um, because everyone on Earth was really into Atlantis and Lemuria in Egypt. So they were really into Rudyard Kipling and the Jungle Book. Like so growing up, the adults, they were really into the Jungle Book. In third grade, my third grade teacher, Mrs. Wright, was really into Island of the Blue Dolphins. Like she loved that book. Every time we had to read it in class, she's the most excited. She's like, "Okay, man, like your turn to read," and then this student's turn to read, and she loved that book. I can tell. And she would be like, "Man, what did you like about of Blue Dolphins? This chapter, this page?" I'm like, "I like the otters. The otters. I really like the otters." And she's like, "Oh, that's really good. That's really good." And then this student like, "What do you like and stuff?" But so it was the Jungle Book, and then for me, and then my third grade teacher was Island of the Blue Dolphin. Um, but for me growing up, it was the Goosebumps series. This was my favorite. This was Huang's. I remember Huang was reading this Ghost Camp. But I remember the book that really caught my attention was the Barking Ghost, and I remember reading this book and I hated it. So when I hate something, I return to it. It means my brain can't understand. So when you hate, it means the brain doesn't understand. You want to come back to it. All right, you don't want to hate it. Just know that your brain can't comprehend it and come back to it. So my brain hated this book, just hated it. So that means that I have to come back to it. With this book, I had to pause. I couldn't read it all the way through because it confused me. It really confused me. Um, what it was humans were afraid of dogs, and that confused me. Like it's an animal. It's just a dog. Just kick it. Like, why are you afraid of a dog? So I had to pause on that book. So that's what I'm going to be talking about, like how I think. I have to pause when my brain doesn't understand something, right? And I didn't understand why humans, the higher intelligence, were afraid of dogs. I didn't understand it. Um, so that's what we're going to talk about. So going into Pacific, I talked about stardom in my essay. Let's all be a star. And it didn't happen. And for 3 years, just like I had to pause the book, I had to pause my life. I wasn't I wasn't having fun. I was having fun in another way, in an intellectual way, but I wasn't having fun in like, oh, I want to participate and things like that. That wasn't my interest. My interest was, why are the adults not having fun? I said let's be a star, right? And and my mistake is believing people to be intelligent. All right, that's a mistake. Believing people to be intelligent. All right. So I'm like, you're smart enough. You can figure this out. So for 3 years, I had to take a pause from my life. I'm like, what's going on? For 3 years, I'm like, why are these adults so shy? Like, did you get my self portrait? Did you not understand my essay? Did you not understand the self portrait? You're giving me hints all throughout my 3 years. Like, I get that you saw it, but do you not understand it? That was my for 3 years. I'm like, you didn't understand it, and then and the CIA probably hacked my phone and my iPad, and I gave them my password for everything. I'm basically an agent. I basically am a CIA agent. Um, I'm on their team. meaning like I know what they're trying to do and I'm on their side, I'm on their team. So that's why if they hack my phone and my iPad, I'm okay with it. I'm already an agent. Like, my job is to take down shyness. So their job is to protect the world in America, and my job is to take down shyness. So I'm like undercover. I'm like a real life Jason Bourne, for real. Um, so if they hack my stuff, we're on the same team. I'm okay with it. Are they gonna hack Americans? You guys are losers. They don't want to be your friend, so you're safe. All right. Losers don't make friends. All right. The CIA and I are friends. All right. A hack is not always a hack. It's trying to contact your friend. All right. America and the world, you're losers. They're not gonna hack you. They either keep the world safe or they're trying to reach their friend. All right. You guys are losers. They're not gonna hack you, even though you probably want them to, because I want to be an agent too. No, they're not gonna do it. You guys are not important. Meaning you have no important research to offer. Um, so at Pacific, I silently created my own Navy SEALs. All of my Pacific students, they knew. They're like, "Oh, Min's onto something, and he's about to take down shyness, and we're gonna join his Navy SEALs." And all of Pacific students were doing it. Like we were all agents, for real, for real. It really did happen. And DeRosa can tell you, he lived on the campus in his Pacific house. Like he's like, yeah, something's going on. Like these students are onto something. But anyways, yeah. So at Pacific for 3 years, I got confused. I'm like, did they not understand to be a star? Like, what happened? So for 3 years, I was confused. Even at San Francisco, I'm like, I'm still perplexed by it. I'm like, remember, I'm just living my life. Multiverse, I'm just living my life. I'm like, what is going on with my problem, right? Like Jesus had his, he didn't know anything about Atlantis. He just had his problem. I just had my problem. I'm like, what is this? And then a multiverse conversation. Obama played with guns, right? With the Gabby Gifford, he was playing with guns for the multiverse. He's not gonna get in trouble, but because it's all part of telling a story. We're all friends here, so no one's gonna get in trouble. Remember, this is just a school where no one really gets hurt. So when Obama did that, I'm like, a second time, I trusted an adult, and they did something weird. All right, the first time was at Pacific. The second time, I trusted an adult, the president. Like, this is the president, and you're playing with guns. It didn't make sense, right? Um, just like the humans afraid of dogs. It doesn't make sense to me, right? So with Obama playing with gun, the president, the most respected position, playing with guns, it didn't make sense to me. So the adult being shy, not playing with stardom, and then the president playing with guns, it's like you don't know who you are, right? So that was the second time. I'm like, I gotta bounce. So this is the multiverse me going, I gotta check out what's going on. And I'm like, oh, that's what happened. I checked out DeRosa and I'm like, oh, that's what happened. They were just weird and then they got shocked by it. You know how you're shy and then you do something weird when you're introducing yourself or something? You're like, oh, did you notice my weirdness? And then you're shocked for a very long time. They were shocked for 3 years that they made that mistake. And then Obama, same thing. So I checked it out. I'm like, what's going on with them? And I'm like, oh, that's what happened. They're just shy and nerdy. And then I'm like, oh, Obama's probably the same way. I'm like, I'm gonna let Kimberly, Kinsey, and Carly take over. And then I need a third perspective, right? This is how doctors do it, right? Doctors like, I need perspective from one doctor, from two doctors, from three doctors, as many perspectives as I can, so I can zone in on what's happening. So as a doctor, I'm like, I got one perspective, Pacific, two perspective, Obama, adults. These are high position adults, president, very high position, and they messed up. So the third position is Kimberly, Kinsey, and Carly can see. they know what's going on. There's people inside. The multiverse didn't know this yet, but they knew. So that's a third high position. So I let them take over. I'm like, they're not that dumb. There's no way. Right? I trusted in human intelligence. I'm like, there's no way you're that dumb. Right? With Pacific, I'm like, there's no way you're that dumb. President, there's no way you're that dumb. And with Kimberly, Kinsey, and Carly, I'm like, there's no way you're that dumb. There's no way. So I'm like, I give it a year and I'll come back. 12 years later, I got my evidence. Yes, you are dumb. So it's not an intelligence thing. Everyone can learn. So I'm like, what's going on? What is going on? It happened at Pacific. It happened with the president. It happened with my sisters who are very aware of what's going on, right? And these are the people who know about Atlantis as well, right? And I'm like, what's going on? What's going on here? Doesn't make sense. 12 years doesn't make sense, right? I have my 3 points where I'm like, there's something odd going on. Has to be shyness. So shyness clouds your mind, right? It really clouds your mind because with me, since preschool, I've been playing with this, the brain, the library. So all my life, I knew if I don't know something, I'm going to the library. There's so many books here, right? I'm like, if I get lost in life, I know where to go. Not to Atlantis, not to my parents, not to adults, right here. I go here. So I'm like, whatever happens to me, that's why even if I test myself, I'm like, I don't know the answer, but I'll go here. And then I get the answers. So for 12 years, Kimberly, Kinsey, and Carly had no idea there was a library. They just don't go here, right? So I would push them. So they thought I was a bully. Like, Min's a bully. The reason why I pushed them to keep finding answers is because when DeRosa made a mistake, everyone got shocked for 3 years. When Obama made a mistake, everyone got shocked for another 10 or so years. They get stuck. They really do get stuck. So with Kimberly and Kinsey and Carly, I just like, don't get stuck. You made a mistake. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. And they took that as, because their mind is so shy, they took it as, I'm not ready. Whatever you're pushing me to, I'm not ready. So they hit me back. They got violent. Right? They didn't see me as a teacher. They didn't see me as a coach. They didn't see me as someone who's teaching them. They saw me as a bully. You see how it's clouded? They can't see outside. Right? How do you cure something that's happening inside? Right? It's like an infection. It's like cancer. How do you fight something that's happening inside? You have to be a doctor. It's the only way to get inside is to be a doctor. Right? So humanity has to become doctors to cure this, the shyness in their heads. So the same thing happened to me in 3rd grade, right? In 3rd grade, remember, I was in the library all day. Since preschool, I've been in the library. So when Mrs. Wright is really excited about Island of the Blue Dolphin, right? And she's really excited about, and she was really excited about Island of the Blue Dolphin. Like, she loved that book, man. Like, she really loved that book. Island of the Blue Dolphin. Like, every time we had a chance to read it, she's like, everyone get together. We're going to read Island of the Blue Dolphin. Everyone reads today. I'm like, dang it. I don't want to read, right? Being a kid, being a bitch. So the thing about me is, because I've been in the library my whole life, I don't know the life of suffering. That's why Pacific admissions like, yo, he's never experienced it. He's never experienced suffering. That's how he behaves. Like he never experienced it because I never had. I've always been in the library studying. So I don't know the world of shyness, right? When Mrs. Wright's like, "It's your turn to read, man," I'm like, okay. Like it's like it's more like um it's a touch of shyness just because you're a kid, but it's more like I know a lot. Like you don't want me talking. I know a lot about the library. It's more like that. So my shyness was more like I'm afraid to speak up because I know so much. It's not the same shyness. So Mrs. Wright would be like, "Okay, it's your turn to read, man." Like she loves that book. It's like, "Okay, man, what do you like about the book?" And I'm like, "I know what I like because I'm always in the library. I know who I am because I'm always studying the library." And and so so when she asked me like, "What do you like, man?" Um, I'm like, I like otters. Remember, I study a lot, so I know what I like. So I'm like, I like the otters. I really like the otters. They're friendly. Um, they're playful. I like the otters. So you see how um, I enjoy animals, and then it goes to how shy people see animals. Remember how Kimberly and Kinsley see me as a bully, as a monster. They see me as this. It's confusing to me. I love otters. And you see this? Doesn't make sense to me. So so humans are afraid of animals. Doesn't make sense. Um so when Mrs. Wright's like, "Oh, you like otters?" I'm like, "Yeah, I like otters." In the book. It's like, "Oh, that's great, man. That's awesome." And she asked another student, and another student, they're like, "I don't know what I like." This is me in class throughout third grade, throughout all my schooling. When they ask me, I always know what I like. Right? I may not be the best student because I'm always here, but I always know what I like. Like I don't like this, I like this. I don't like this, I like this. I always know what I like. And then when the teacher asks the other students, they're like, "I'm just doing what I'm told. I don't know what I like. I don't know what I don't like. I don't know who I am." Right? So that's what I noticed growing up. Like they just don't know themselves. And I didn't know why. Remember, I'm just living. Like all I know is they don't know themselves, and I just don't know why. But after I got the 3 points, the Pacific, the Obama, and Kimberly, Kinsley, Carly for 12 years, I'm like, shyness is for real. It's a real thing. So yeah, that's my story. Um, Hope it helps people. But yeah, the CIA and we're on the same team. They're in my stuff. I'm in their stuff. We're just friends. I'm basically an agent for real. I give them information on shyness, what's going on, my Navy SEALs team at Pacific, and yeah, same team. With the rest of the world, don't worry about it. Like the CIA doesn't want to be your friend. You guys have nothing to offer, so don't worry. Um, and it's just a friendship thing. Um, and I'm a real life Jason Bourne, for real. I'm taking down shyness. And same with my Pacific squad, the Navy SEALs. Like we're for real. We're trying to take down shyness for real. Like they, to this day, they're waiting for me to like next mission for real. While they're on their mission, they're like, "Yo, man, what's the next mission?" For real, Pacific students, no joke. Even to this day, the culture is still there as Navy SEALs at Pacific. They are still taking down shyness to this day. I'm not joking. Um, so they're ready for the next mission. CIA is ready for the next mission. We're waiting for the release of the story of Atlantis, the Bohemian Club and stuff. That the Templars, Dr. Seuss, Rudyard Kipling, Mark Twain. They were just brothers who did, this was passed down to them, and the brothers that it was just a civil war where some brothers didn't want to tell, other brothers did want to tell. So the Templars, the Three Musketeers, the Rudyard Kipling, the Bohemian Club, they want to tell, right? They want to make it obvious that we know about Atlantis and Lemuria. We have um, their stuff from the ancient civilization. They have it, and they want to tell. So they got mad at the other brothers who didn't want to tell, and they went out and created a muck and madness, and they got mad. But it's just a conversation thing. You want to just talk to your brother, not attack him. So we're waiting for the CIA and NSA and FBI to release this story, and then we'll get the ball rolling on shyness. So we're gonna wait for this story first, and then we're gonna the Pacific students and I are gonna show how we're taking down shyness. So we're waiting on this one first.